Work.
You want the crispy chicken from Arby's?
Heavyweight boxing fans, what's the deal? Let some people get in here and show up, man.
You give me some money, I'll just go inside and order. Thank you.
Let y'all get up in here. Get my opinion, man, about that. As y'all get up in here, man, hit that thumbs up for me. Get my opinion about Jared Anderson. It's not, I can't go in there. Get my opinion on Jared Anderson versus Rodney Hernandez, which I thought was a pretty, decent win for Jared Anderson, man. I know Rodney Hernandez isn't a huge name, but he is still somebody that will give your prospect a run for his money. I've seen him do it with Zhang Ji and he actually beat LaRon Mitchell when Mitchell was undefeated. Um, so on and so forth, right? Lawrence Williams was good, man. Blackout was good. Um, but as far as that performance Jared had, man, I thought that he did a good job of, he tried to I thought that he was, possibly going there, like most prospects going there and try to overwhelm his opponent, throw a flurry of punches and hopefully he can get the guy out of there. But he didn't do it. Appreciate that $2 holla for Ronald Finkley says the title is official, game on. Um, Appreciate that, man. But yeah, Jared went in there, man, and he couldn't get Rodney out in the first round, right? He couldn't huff and puff and blow the house down. But what he did do is he was chopping him up. And what I mean by that is he was walking him down, using his jab and finding shots, and he was placing good hard shots. You know what I mean? Rodney, first of all, Rodney came up there looking like a damn caveman. I couldn't even really, when I seen the weigh in, he just looked totally different with all that damn hair on his face and on his head, on top of his head. But um, you know, he was trying to, he damn near went into survival mode, man. Once he figured that he couldn't really find a range on Jared and he couldn't get any type of offense going, because Jared was doing a good job of using his mobility, but just enough to where he wasn't running from him, but just moving back slightly, just to keep Rodney off balance to the point where Rodney couldn't get any punches to throw. You know what I mean? And as soon as Rodney would get in range to try to find somewhere to throw a punch, Jared would step back, use a jab, use a straight right, so on and so forth. You know what I mean? Um, so yeah, man, I thought the kid did a good job of boxing, man. And he has quick hands. Um, I like the kid, man. I definitely want to see more of him. You know what I mean? But he took his time and he pretty much broke up Rodney Hernandez, man. Tommy Tipper was good. He pretty much took his time and he broke him up. You know what I mean? Good single shot to the body. He was chopping him upstairs with left hooks and then he was switching on him. I mean, that's probably one of the most dominant performances I've seen against Rodney Hernandez. And Hernandez been there with the Jagba and a few other guys, you know what I mean? Derek Belly was good, man. So that's one of the better performances I've seen against Rodney. You know what I mean? Jared did a great job, man, using that jab, using his hand speed, and being accurate with those single shots. I seen something on Boxing Scene earlier, man. Dillian Whyte. I don't think Dillian has got over the Dillian Whyte loss. I seen this article on Boxing Scene today, man. Shout out to Boxing Scene where he was saying, it's not like Povetkin was beating me up the whole fight, and it's not like I got the fight beat out of me.
You got knocked
Bro, you got knocked the
unconscious.
fuck out, man. Like Dillian, like I respect the fact that you're back in the gym doing your cardio and everything like that. I see you hitting the bag and working on different machines. I will hope that you're doing a lot of defensive things too, man. Just being aware of uppercuts and because that's the punch that seems to haunt you throughout your career. Anthony Joshua, Rivas, or Parker. I mean, people have caught you with uppercuts just in a lot of your fights, man. And you've been hurt and dropped by that single punch. So hopefully you put out some footage of, training on how to avoid that uppercut. But bro, it's like you have not got over the fact that Povetkin just knocked you the fuck out. Now you saying things like it's not like he was beating me up. That don't matter. You got knocked the fuck out, man. You got knocked unconscious, bro. So I guess he's trying to say it's not like I was getting beat every second, every minute of every round, but you still got knocked out. He's still not, even though despite the fact that you dropped him twice, He's still the older man got up and knocked you out unconscious. It's like he hasn't got over that. It doesn't seem like he's got over that. Now you may argue that he is over it by getting back in the gym training. I think his ego's a little bit hurt, and and I can understand that his ego is hurt, man. He's a professional fighter, and you got knocked out, and everybody's making fun of it. You know what I mean? So, but it don't seem like Dillian Whyte has really gotten over the fact or the realization that he got knocked unconscious. He still thinks it was like, I don't know, man. Like he could just make a few tweaks and everything's gonna be all right for the next fight. And I think it's more than some few tweaks that need to be made, man. That defense and that head movement and just being aware on the inside, but it's something like I've been saying that's been plaguing him throughout his career, getting caught with uppercuts. You know what I mean? So you can hit all the heavy bags in the world, you can run all the miles you want, you can lift all the weights. If you're not working on avoiding that uppercut and head movement, you're just gonna be in good cardio, but you're still getting caught with that same shot. My man Stormy B, man, salute, bro. Also, I seen that, and Ronald Finkley brought this up, that Nathan Gorman and Lartey, that fight is actually pushed back, man, to October 10th. They pushed that fight back. It's supposed to be this month, but they're pushing that back to October 10th. My man Boxing Conversation with Reg Yolen. Reg Yolen, salute, bro. You know what I mean? So, yeah, Dillian ain't really got over the fact that he got knocked out, man. He's still making it seem like, you know, I don't think he's really giving Povetkin his just due. I really don't. And then, what was the other thing that I wanted to talk about? Anthony Joshua, I seen something he said on a boxing scene earlier. There was an interview conducted, and he was saying that Fury and Wilder would not be the best guys that he's ever fought, or be the best guys on his resume. Now I will say this: you can make an argument, Klitschko, and I know what you guys are gonna say. Mr. Boxing, that Klitschko was 40-something years old, so on and so forth. But if you look at, I mean, he's more decorated than Fury and Wilder at this point. Longer title reigns, unified champion, things of that nature. But for Joshua to say that they wouldn't be the best guys he's ever fought, well, we gotta wait till their duration of their career is over with. And it took him 2 fights to beat Anthony or Ruiz. So maybe he's looking at it like, well, hey, Klitschko's a more decorated, as far as he was a gold medalist and unified champion for X amount of years and all these title defenses, which exceed Tyson Fury has yet to have a title defense. I guess he'll be defending his title for the first time when he goes against Wilder in a rematch. So I get what he's saying by that, and then maybe he's looking at it, well, hey, Ruiz beat me, and I had to fight him a second time to beat him. So maybe he's looking at it like that. I'm not sure, but first you got to fight Tyson. Well, shit, Fury beat Klitschko, you know what I mean? But you got to get in the ring with those guys first to really say if they'll be better fighters than Klitschko and the other guys on your resume. You know what I mean? But that's Anthony Joshua's opinion. You know what I'm saying? D Hodges, what's good, bro? Let me see. Ether Joe. Oh, D Hodges said, what up, Mr. Boxing? In the chat, LDBC, salute family. Indeed, indeed. Ether Joe 505 says, thoughts on boxing styles. Crunk, Cus D'Amato, Philly Shell. Is the Tyson D'Amato style harder to learn? Footwork and speed. Why do so many top heavyweights have such limited styles? Well, I think a lot of especially the European cats, they to me are coming after, they kind of implemented that Klitschko style with the jab and kind of, with a loose guard and use that jab and throw up top a lot and really rarely go to the body. And I think a lot of these guys, they're 6'6", 6'7", 250 pounds. So they look at Klitschko and they want to be a replica of that, which isn't a bad style, right? Let me see the second part of your question. So I think they're limited. Some of them are limited because they don't like to go to the body. Some of the bigger, taller guys, right? But then you have the shorter guys like a Povetkin and a Ruiz and Oscar Rivas. Some guys like to go to the body. Even Dillian Whyte likes to go to the body. So I won't say they're limited. I think guys just pick a style and they stick to that style, right? You can't say Ruiz is limited because he ain't outboxing you with a jab. That's just not his style. I think he picked that style and they're going to stick to that. Deontay Wilder likes to fight you from a long range. I don't think he's going to turn into Smoking Joe Frazier in his next fight, right? Then you ask me, is the Tyson Customato harder to learn? Um, I think you have to be very disciplined and very patient to learn that style because it's all about angles. It's all about moving your head. It's all about not smothering your work when you're in that close. And it's about ripping combinations upstairs and downstairs and upstairs. So I think it takes a lot of discipline to learn that style or learn any style, but especially that one. Um, and you say, why do many top heavyweights? Okay. But that's my opinion on that, Ether Joe. Bruce Goals, what's up, man? D Style, what's up, man? So yeah, I talked about uh Gorman and Lartey being moved to October 10th. Dillian Whyte not getting over Povetkin, in my opinion. I think he's over that. Y'all give me 1 second. All right. Joseph Bacon, what's up, man? Uh Let me see here. Ronald Finkley says Wilder was going to Fury body both fights. He just needs to stay on the way. Hold on. He says Wilder was going to Fury's body both fights. He just needs to stay out the way of big shots. Foot movement is key. Well, I thought in that second fight, man, Wilder's being very predictable with that jab to the body. It was very predictable, man. Wilder just looked lethargic and lackadaisical in that second fight. He just didn't seem right, man. And not so much of Fury's style. Well, I do think the style kind of caught him by surprise with Fury coming out and being in his face. It caught me by surprise. And D Style's in here, and D Style said this in one of his videos. Literally, Fury came out like knee high, like knee high, running to the middle of the ring, like sprinted to the middle of the ring, which caught me by surprise. And I thought if he did that, he was guaranteed to get knocked out, right? But I think it kind of caught Wilder by surprise a little bit, and I think just that shock kind of made him kind of a little bit hesitant, like what the fuck is he doing? You know what I mean? What is Fury doing? And I think just staying in front of Wilder while you're in front of him, making him miss a little bit, kind of put a little mental pressure on him. You know what I mean? But I thought Wilder, when he was throwing that jab to the body, was so predictable, man. And it just looked like Fury was like, oh, you're going to throw that jab? I'm going to come over the top of that jab with the right hand. And that's what it looked like. I thought Wilder did a good job of scraping Ortiz to the body in their first fight. Wilder has a nice little left hook to that body, and usually he lands it because nobody's really expecting him to go to the body. You know what I mean? People just view Wilder as a headhunter. So I think his body work can surprise guys and get them off balance a little bit. I appreciate that $2 holla from my man JMJ 2121. Appreciate that, man. But yeah, um, and man, I always thought like, man, that right hand by Wilder is so lethal. What if he start aiming it to like the solar plexus, the chest, or the stomach? You know what I mean? Work that right hand, not just to knock somebody's head off their shoulders, but like work it kind of in the body area, man. I think it'd be very effective by doing that. You know what I mean? And I like when Wilder snaps his jab and doubles it up and makes it quick, not just the long and keeping it and just leaving it out there like that, man. I like Wilder when he doubles up on that jab and he snaps it real quick, not just that long, slow kind of thudding jab. I think his jab is better when it's like a stinging jab. Dillian Whyte's a guy. I think his jab is better when it's that, power, when he uses the jab is power. But some guys' jabs are better when they're kind of whipping that jab, right? Like Larry Holmes. Larry Holmes would bring his jab from the hip, man. He used that motherfucker as a whip. You know what I mean? George Foreman's jab was a little bit different. Slower, plodding, but harder, thudding jab, like a power shot, like Sonny Liston. You know what I mean? Speaking of Holmes, Lawrence Williams says Fury came out. You say Fury came out Wilder like Holmes did to Spinks in the second fight. Came right to him, man. Right to him. Like, I'm bringing the fight to you. And that shit surprised me. I'm like, damn. He gonna bring the fight right to him? G Funky Boxing, what's good, bro? The Expert Genius, what's up? Y'all go subscribe to the Expert Genius. D-Style Boxing, Stormy B-Man, Lawrence Williams, G Funky Boxing. Go subscribe to all of them, brother. Andrew Charles, what's up, man? G Funky Boxing says Wilder was landing good left hooks toward. Yep, he was. Yep. Stormy B-Man says that's where Wilder fucked up. Should have went out there and hit Fury in the mouth first. No hesitancy. Yeah. And when he saw they shit, oh, you come, bop. I know exactly what you mean. Like, oh, you want to step to me? Bop. He shouldn't even thought about it. As soon as he's in range, get his ass right. Put him on his back foot again. You know what I mean? And I think Wilder let him get away with being aggressive. Because then Wilder became hesitant. Like, once Wilder seen that Fury wanted to be aggressor, then Wilder became like just like you said, he became hesitant, like as if he didn't really know what to do. Or as if he was like trying to see if Fury was going to play this role for the whole fight. And while he was doing all that thinking, Fury was hitting his ass. Now, Wilder did land some good right hands in that opening round. One of the right hands, it looked like Wilder got everything in. It looked like the punch caught Fury right at the very end, and Fury kind of rolled with it too. He kind of rolled with the right hand as well, but it still landed. And usually, even them shots, man, Wilder hit you with the cuff of his glove, a part of the glove, it will still knock people over, but Fury was able to take it, man, which was surprising to me. God of War says Wilder needs to avoid the close and mid-range at all costs. Yeah, I've always said that. And the way that Fury beat Wilder, not the, and a lot of us were saying it, so it wasn't just me, but I always said the way that I think to beat Wilder is the same way that Johann Duhaupas fought him, right? And I thought that Tyson Fury pretty much fought like a A version, like an A+ version of the way Duhaupas fought him. Step into him, getting in his chest, not just put him on the back foot, but put him on the back foot to where he's defensive and to where he's not throwing long shots, to where if you do put him on the back foot, get close to him, Wilder has to come with like a mid-range fight, hooks and uppercuts. And I think that's why I always think that if Wilder were to fight AJ, it depends. And I know AJ a little bit chinny, or we perceive him as to be chinny, but I always thought AJ had the advantage if it was a mid-range fight, because I think he's a better combination puncher. You know what I mean? But that was the shot that put the bruise on Fury's face, that right hand. Yeah, because I watched the fight a plethora of times now, man, that second fight, and I was like, damn, Wilder actually did land some right hands, you know what I mean? Because the perception is Wilder didn't, Fury didn't let him land nothing. Nah, he landed on him. Fury just ate them shots. And again, y'all, and I know we look at Wilder as, an all-time great puncher, which he is, but you guys got to remember, man, and I brought this up in the last video, and the example I used was Holyfield, Bo, and Tyson. Some fighters react to other people's power differently. You know what I mean? So Fury may be that dude that can react to Wilder. Now, he did get knocked down twice, and some people believe he got knocked out in that second fight or in the first fight. But some fighters react to other people's power differently, man. Right? Evander reacted to Mike Tyson's power a lot differently than he did Riddick Bowe, right? Historically, we look at Tyson as a harder puncher than Bowe, but shit, the way Holyfield was reacting, you would think that to Holyfield, it seems like Riddick Bowe's a harder puncher than Tyson. Hold on, y'all, give me 1 second. All right, y'all, I'm back. Let me see here. D Style says he said Wilder wasn't the same after the first knockdown. Yeah, he got caught behind his ear, man. That shit threw off his equilibrium, kind of like what happened to AJ in the Ruiz fight, man. Shit, be real with you though, D Styles, man, he just didn't look right. Period, man. And I'm thinking that 230 probably has something to do with it. Now, I'm not gonna lie, man. I was one of the guys saying that 230 wouldn't be a problem for him, but I only went off that through just logic and just what I've seen beforehand. The Spilka fight and the other fights where he came in at like 228, 227. He still got KO wins and he still looked decent in those fights. But that second Fury fight, he just looked slow as hell. Now you may say, well, because Fury's a quick fighter. I'm talking about he just didn't look fast coming forward or backwards. Now, usually Fury makes you look slow because he's using his lateral movement. He's making you plot around and chase after him. Or he's moving his head a lot. He's making you chase after him. Man, he was stepping right to Wilder. And Wilder, like, he couldn't find the target. Just wasn't accurate. Just didn't look right, man. Um, Stormy B-Man says, surprisingly, they haven't taught Wilder infighting. You aren't a complete fighter if you've not been taught to fight at a distance, mid-range, and close. Hell, even Lennox Lewis learned to punch mid-range. Yes, and if you aren't a good infighter, do what Emmanuel Stewart would teach some of his big guys like Vladimir. Grab, hold, clinch. Implement that into your game plan. It's okay to do it, just don't do it excessively to where you're getting points deducted from you. But if you're not a great inside fighter, hold, clinch. Lennox used to bend down, put his body weight on you and do shit like Vladimir too. Now in this case it's different because Fury's the bigger guy, and you would think that Wilder would be able to get some leverage, man, bend those knees and get leverage and be able to land some accurate shots on the inside. But like you said, Stormy, that wasn't a part of his game. It don't seem like they've taught him that, and I get the same feel that you do based on observation. Now I will say the Duhaupas fight, Duhaupas was giving him chances to land on the inside like that because Duhaupas pretty much just put up the high guard and just got down with Wilder and let Wilder get off clean shots. Fury's not going to allow him to do that. You know what I mean? Fury's going to try to hold him, maul him. And one thing Fury did do, which I thought he should have did the first time, but I think the first fight he was trying to show us his rendition of Ali or Larry Holmes or something. Use your weight advantage. If you outweigh a motherfucker about 50, 60 pounds, why move away from him? Use your weight advantage. Grab him, hold him, maul him. You know what I mean? Why would you move away from the guy? I always thought the way to beat Wilder is the way that Johann Duhaupas did, or the way Johann Duhaupas was fighting him, because he had some success. Shit, he even puffed up Wilder's eye. Was it both? He fucked up his eye. Neutral Natural was good, man. I seen you in the stream on Gambino's stream the other day. Shout out to Gambino, man. I've been knowing Gambino for damn near like 10 years on here. He happy to see him back. Curtis Anderson was good, bro. My man D Style says some punches are slower, heavy, like a bulldozer. Some punches not as heavy but fast, like a sledgehammer or bat to the face. I agree. And you just made a video about us disagreeing. But nah, I agree with that point though. And everybody, like I said, everybody just responds to everybody's power differently, man. Curtis Anderson says Fury is just a bad matchup for Wilder. Deontay doesn't have the tools. Fury going back to Crunk was a great advantage for him. It is a bad style matchup, man. Like I keep saying, bro, and I'm pulling for Deontay Wilder to win this fight, man. But the 19 rounds they fought, I gave Fury either 13 or 14 other rounds. Probably 13 out of the 19. You know what I mean? So I'm pulling for Deontay, man. But Fury is crazy, man. He's like crazy enough to where if there is one guy that want to taste the power and they can taste the power of Wilder, it's Fury. And that's why I'm curious to see when Wilder fights another opponent. Will another opponent try to implement what Fury did by thinking they can step to Wilder and take the shots? Because that may be false, false hope. Fury just may be that one guy in the division that can do that. Now, maybe Fury gets knocked out against AJ or knocked out against, and I'm just throwing names out, Pulev or Whyte or some shit, right? But he knows how to deal with Deontay Wilder the right way. that's what I love about this sport, man. That's what I love about it. But hopefully Wilder can fix things and can get this victory, man. But Fury's a motherfucker though, man. It's like a light went off in his head, and maybe Crunk, the guys from Crunk, was telling him like, bro, like use your weight advantage on him, man. Why the fuck are you moving around? And that sounds like something that Emmanuel Stewart would have told him. Like, you're bigger than him. You're taller than him, longer reach, and you outweigh this dude about 50 pounds. Get physical with him. You're about to move around and allow him to throw and laying these long ass punches on you. His Wilder's best power punches is a long right hand. Now, I know you may say Mr. Boxing. He called Spilka, but okay, he turned into that punch. It was shorter, but he was able to turn into that right hand with Spilka. He got some leverage on it. I'm talking about up close, shoulder to shoulder, moving, bumping. That shit plays a role, man. When you are against each other and you're bumping and getting pressed against the ropes and ragdoll a little bit, and that shit takes strength out of your arms. It takes strength out of your legs and your lower back going through that, man. It's like a damn wrestling match. So you got to put Wilder through a little wrestling match a little bit. You may call it cheating or against the rules. Hey, man, you can bend the rules a little bit. Every great fighter always has something they did that was bending the rules. Bernard Hopkins, we go on and on. Floyd Mayweather put his fucking forearm under your neck and then hit you with a straight right hand after he backed you up with it. Evander Holyfield was known to come in with that big ass shiny head. I mean, come on, man. So we're not gonna go there with it. And like Emmanuel Sue used to always say, this motherfucker gonna use his blinker. Jeez. Like Emmanuel used to say, I remember he said this shit to Tommy Hearns one time in the corner. I think it was I forgot what fight it was, man. Was the Tommy Hearns fight? But it was either Lennox Lewis or Tommy Hearns when he told him, he said, fuck boxing, fight him. Get into a fight, push, grab. I mean, you know what I mean? Do what you gotta do, push, grab. You know what I mean? Use your forearms. You gotta fight, man. And that's what I think Fury did to Wilder. He turned that shit into a dog fight. Curtis says once Fury becomes aggressive, fight is over. Could be because just his physicality. I think the physicality of Fury caught Wilder off guard too. Castor Collins said he said that to Lennox. Yeah, I knew it was one of them fights, man. I think the physicality, Kurt, like you said, he got aggressive, and I think that shit caught Wilder off guard. And then when Wilder did try to just push him off, like the way he was able to push, I remember, I think it was the 4th or 5th round of the first Ortiz fight. Ortiz tried to corner Wilder, and Wilder just pushed him. I mean, he just threw him like a rag doll, you know what I mean? And Ortiz a 240-pound man. It's not like he's the easiest guy to just move out the way like that. But it's not as easy to do that to Tyson Fury. Just the dynamics are different. And he's tough too. Emmanuel Stewart, man, when he made that video in 2012, when he said there's 2 guys you guys need to look out for, Tyson Fury and that kid from America named Deontay Wilder. But one thing he said about Fury was tough. He was tough, and he's showing it. And I think his antics, dressing up like Batman or saying outlandish things, kind of make you not take him serious. Like, oh, he's a jokester. That man is 270 pounds, dog. Like, that's a big man. And for somebody 270 pounds to get aggressive and want to, move you around and throw their body weight around, and you're only 200 and I know Wilder was weighing at 230, but we know Wilder, is at his best in the teens and the high teens. It's going to be tough to just match that physicality like that, man. And Wilder isn't really a physical type of fighter like that. He's not like Mike Tyson, right, where he's physical coming forward like that. You know what I mean?
Make sure you grab that toilet paper.
Let me see here. Neutral Natural says a stiff power counter jab will be the Wilder need to work on to win. If he can use that jab, his chances of winning will increase with slightly higher work rate. Now, one thing about Wilder having a higher work rate is he's going to allow Fury more opportunities to counter him. But shit, you're gonna have to take chances, right? But Fury is a exceptional counter puncher. Um, but one thing about Fury though, I would rather have him trying to counter now this to go with Wilder, but I would rather have him trying to counter Wilder off the back foot versus countering Wilder when he's flat footed. He could turn into to his shots or being the aggressor. Now when he was on that back foot in the first fight, them punches really wasn't causing Wilder the harm that those punches in the second fight did. And I think because Fury was being more aggressive, he was sitting down on punches and he was really keying in on singles. He wasn't throwing the 4, 5, 6 punch flurries off the back foot, that type of shit, or throwing, glancing jabs or stay off me type of jabs off the back foot. Every punch he threw in that second fight was meant to hurt Wilder. Wasn't nothing to blind you or keep you off me or, just throwing it out there as a filler. Nah, hard jab, hard right hand, hard. Everything was to hurt Wilder and get his attention. I agree, Stormy. Larry Holmes, one of the best jabbers I've ever seen, man. Only time I ever seen, like I always say, the only time I ever seen Larry Holmes really be out jabbed in a fight. Some people say the Witherspoon fight. I think Witherspoon just outworked him, and I thought Witherspoon should have won that fight. But the only fight I ever really seen him out jab was the Carl Williams fight. Uh, Madman says, win or lose, I reckon Wilder retires after the trilogy. Why do you reckon that? Mark Blake was good, man. Castle Collins said the gypsy element gets overlooked in the States. They don't play. Well, one thing I do know about them is they pretty much have a damn fist fight for all their disagreements. So they come from they come from fighting and getting into fist fights and handling shit with their fists. That's one thing that I've seen about the gypsy culture. Ether Joe 505 says, what's your thoughts on Trevor Bryan and his trainer McKinley? Well, I think Stacey McKinley, man, speaking of Wilder, I think he'd be a great addition to Wilder's camp because he's trained heavyweights. He's trained Shannon Briggs and Mike Tyson and Povetkin and a plethora of other guys. But I like State. He's old school. He's old school. He knows all the tricks of the trade. He knows all the little, you know, sly little moves that you can use in fights that you can get away with. He knows how to teach a guy in fighting. Trevor's just not active enough, man. Last time I seen Trevor in the ring was against BJ Flores. I know he's supposed to have a fight coming up. I thought it was going to be Christopher Lovejoy, but I haven't seen anything about it since. Don King had a little interview with TMZ. I haven't seen anything since that. They're supposed to fight this month. And I follow Christopher Lovejoy on Instagram, and even he's saying that he said they had a deadline. I think that deadline has came and gone. But I think Trevor has a good skill set. I don't think nothing really jumps off the page like he has crazy power, crazy speed. I think he's pretty much solid at every category. I think he's solid, and he's got a lot of rounds in with Shannon Briggs, man. So that could even at this age of Shannon Briggs, but just to spar Shannon and to be in there with Shannon and just learn things, I think that's a plus. But Stacey McKinley is a toolbox, man. You know what I mean? So he should definitely keep McKinley in his corner. And I think Stacey did a good job with him. I remember the most vocal I've heard him was when Trevor Bryan was fighting. Damn, what's that cat's name, man? Shit, he fought the dude on Showtime. That's gonna piss me off, man. It's the cat that played for Boston College football. He's had a lot of fights. I forgot the cat's name, man. Damn, that's gonna piss me off. Shit, what's that dude's name? It's a light-skinned cat. Derek Rossi, or Rossi, when he fought Rossi in that fight. Hypnofist, now Washington played for USC, but when he fought Derek Rossi. Stacey was very vocal in that fight, and I thought he was giving them great information in the corner. And he's a realist. He's not gonna lie to you in the corner. If you need to pump that jab or you're fighting scary or something, Stacey will tell you. He's not going buttercup it in a motherfucking corner and tell you lies. That's one thing I like about Stacy, man. Let me see. DGO0082 says Ruiz versus Wilder for American heavyweight supremacy. I would love to see that fight. Let me go up here. Madman says might have a last hurrah after the trilogy like Nassim Hamed did. I think Wilder has a. I think with Nassim, I think his ego was hurt after getting roughed up by Barrera like that. I think his ego was hurt more than anything, and I think he made enough money. I think he just wanted to probably call it quits. But I think Prince though, his ego was shattered. I remember watching that fight live, man. Barrera was bullying him. He bullied the hell out of him. And ironic, we're talking about Emmanuel Stewart. I remember Emmanuel was in his corner, was in Nassim's corner that night. Yeah, Barrera was like a technical bully up in there. Stayed patient, calm, just a tactician in there, man. He just bullied the hell out of him. Ether Joe 505 says, how do they come up? He says, how do they come up in profile? I know Stacey McKinley prefers to work in the background, but we need more U.S. heavyweights mixing things up. Madman says he will be 36 nearly by the time the trilogy happens. If he loses, what does he do from there? If he wins, Joshua won't fight him. So what does he have left to prove? That he's the best of this era by still fighting. There's still guys out there to fight. This isn't the end all be all fighting Fury 3 times and then calling it a day. Although he did have his title defenses, but there's still guys to fight. You got Ruiz out there. You got still got, even though Dillian got knocked out, Paveka's still out there. Michael, I mean, there's still guys to fight, man. You know what I mean? So if he were to call it quits, his title reign will still be viewed as something great. His high KO percentage, and he gave us excitement. So it's not like he's. So I'm not saying he hasn't done anything, but what I'm saying is, I still think there are some good fights out there for him. You know what I mean? And I guess he'll have to just harass AJ until he gets in the ring, until the fans demand it, until they can't not take the fight. Just keep harassing them and demand that fight to happen. But shit, Pulev, I mean, AJ got to get through Pulev. That's not an easy fight, man. People think he's about to just run through Pulev. Pulev has everything in the toolbox to upset AJ. He has a jab. Shout out to BWTM Sports out there in the UK because he says something that I agree with. He has a jab, he has heart, and he has confidence. You know what I mean? People look at the Klitschko loss, but shit, didn't Klitschko almost knock AJ the fuck out as well? AJ beat him, but didn't Klitschko almost stop him? Well, that's the only guy that Pulev lost to. You know what I mean? And I thought in the first round, shit, was it the first or second round where Pulev actually stunned Klitschko with a hard ass jab, like stunned him with a hard jab. And that shit the Klitschko's pulled, man, with that whole, you know, they won't tell you what type of canvas is going to be until the night of the fight, and you in there pretty much fighting on damn quicksand with them soft ass canvases. You'll be practicing and doing all your training on a normal hard canvas, and then fight night against Klitschko, they got you on them soft ass. It's like you're boxing on a bed spring or some shit, on, you know, or on top of a mattress or something. That shit drains you and is different, and that shit will catch you off guard and make you a different fighter on fight night. That shit will just drain your legs, man. You can say that's an excuse. I disagree, man. But Pulev, and there's a lot of things that AJ, you know, in that second Ruiz fight, that showed me that AJ didn't want them problems on the inside. Now you can say, hey, that's a smart, that's smart game plan. Yeah, it was a smart game plan to use his lateral movement, be the better athlete as far as athletic ability, moving around, that type of thing, using your jab, staying out of harm's way, wrap up, vice grip on the inside. That's a good game plan. But then there's times in that fight where I thought Ruiz will work with his offhand. When guys are both clenched, he'll work with his offhand. Pulev does that. He'll be clenched up with you, but then he'll keep working with that offhand. Maybe if they're both clenching and he catch AJ on that, AJ seems to get hurt when he gets hit on the side of his head. He gets clipped with something while they're on the inside working. He may rattle AJ a little bit and fight AJ when he's uncomfortable. You know what I mean? And unlike Ruiz wasn't able to touch AJ with his jab. because he has a shorter reach and AJ was moving around. Pulev jab is good enough and long enough to still touch AJ when he's trying to move. Klitschko pretty much said, fuck the jabbing contest, because it looked like Pulev was out jabbing him early. And Klitschko said, fuck all this. I'm about to lead with left hooks and lead with straight right hands. You can use your jab. I don't want to jab no more. I'm going to just lead with power shots. I'm curious to see what kind of AJ we're going to get. Are we going to get the come forward destroyer type that he was in his previous fights? And if he does do that, he's right in line for a hard jab, a straight jab. And Pulev likes to throw a right hand behind his jab, whether it's a sweeping right hand to the body or up top behind your guard. We like to come around your glove with his punch, or straight right hand. And we know that Anthony Joshua's in line for straight punches. You know what I mean? So I'm not too sure about the Pulev, man. That's I'm gonna say I'm picking AJ, but I don't feel comfortable about it. Let me see here. Let me catch up on these comments, y'all. Stormy, my man Stormy says Mr. Boxer Fury and his camp realized that after the second knockdown in the first fight, he got up and won the rest of the round, and he had Wilder on his heels. That began the blueprint for fight number 2. Bingo. Aggressive. Bringing a fight to him. Like what Johan Duipa did. Just a better version of the Duipa fight. HypnoFist says, I think AJ and Hearn are going to push Wilder out the picture if they can. If Wilder loses, then Eddie is going to dismiss Wilder and say that he will need to go through the rankings to get the fight. Yeah, we already know Eddie going to come up with something, man, if he ain't already got it pre-planned. Let me see here. Neutral Natural says overhand right needs to be the punch for Fury to use, but he needs to work on boxing more in the rematch and only pressure Wilder when he's tired. I think he's going to pressure Wilder from the beginning, get him mentally tired. Not so much physically tire him out, but get him mentally tired of having to think and move. And because sometimes guys, they just kind of freeze. Like once they start having to think too much, you can just see it on their body language. They kind of like just freeze up in the moment. And I think stepping to Wilder kind of made him just freeze a little bit and kind of made him just like he was just caught off guard by it. Now, Wilder may be expecting that the second fight for Fury to come forward, and Wilder may be having some waiting for his ass. But to me, man, I don't think Fury can. He's already showed what style he's going to use. Either he's going to fight the way he did in the first fight, or fight how he did in the second fight. I doubt there's like a third way of him fighting. Madman says, I think Wilder's ego is hurt badly too, Mr. Boxer. How do you think his ego is hurt? I know he isn't doing as many interviews right now, but I think he's probably just well, let's put it this way. Whenever you lose a fight, I don't give a fuck who it is. Muhammad Ali, Larry Holmes, Deontay Wilder, whoever it is. Nobody's happy that they lost, and they might not come out and say it, but everybody's ego gonna be hurt after a loss. I don't give a fuck who you are, what you say to the public. When it's just you, not you and your homeboy, you and your trainer, you and your wife, when it's just you, the man, of course you're hurt. Of course you're embarrassed. Who the fuck wants to lose or who wants to get stopped? Nobody, especially when you're the one that's always stopping people. So I think just a loss kind of brings you back down to reality a little bit. You know what I mean? So in that way, I think his ego is hurting that way. But I don't think he's totally crushed. I give up. I want to quit, because then he wouldn't be taking a third fight. He wouldn't be in training. You know what I mean? But to some degree, do I think he's kind of like, damn, like that was embarrassing? Of course. Oh, that's what's up. HypnoFist, you says you friends with Ricky Beard. Curtis says you can't turn Ernie Shavers into Pernell Whitaker. No, you cannot. You'll be wasting your time in the gym doing some shit like that. HypnoFist says, trust me, if Wilder loses, then Hearn is going to do everything. Okay, I read that. Stormy says all Pulev needs to do is put something on AJ's ass, but will he do it though? he usually does in his fights. He'll, um, at the very least, he'll give you a jab to think about. He'll give you a jab, and he throws that jab with meaning and purpose. It ain't just like a flick jab. He throws that motherfucker out there to hurt you. So if he can establish that, that's gonna give AJ some shit to think about. And usually he does. And AJ doesn't have the best head movement. You know what I mean? So I think that jab will give him something to think about, bro. But we will see though. Madman says he's had that invincible aura for a very long time. His mindset has been win, win, win. The baddest man on the planet. That whole bubble and mindset was bashed up by a white dude. Bro, you keep for some reason always saying like white dude. Like, are you? I've seen that in a few years. It's like you're trying to emphasize white dude and white man. I'm not sure where you're going with that, bro. Maybe I'm just reading too much into what you're saying. But one thing about his mindset, though, even with that mindset, Wilder has lost some rounds now. I thought Wilder was now. I know you're saying what he thinks, but just in my mind, the Spilka fight. I had Spilka winning that fight before he got put into a mild coma. Before he got that NyQuil treatment, I actually had the fight going into the ninth. I had it 4-3-1 Spilka. Not that he was whooping Deontay Wilder's ass, but that's just what I had. I broke that fight down. The Ortiz fight, the second Ortiz fight, I had Ortiz sweeping all those rounds. The first Ortiz fight, I had it very close. So the Jared Washington fight before he got the knockout, I think I had Jared up 3-0, 4-0 or something like that before he got knocked out. And even Wilder has voiced his opinion about people saying that he's losing all these rounds. So I guess invincible to me, man, is like when you're not really losing any second, like the way Floyd was, or when Roy was in his prime, like shit like that. But like I said though, man, when you take a loss, man, it's going to affect you somehow, some way. Initially, I'm sure guys are going to be like, damn, I lost. You know what I mean? Nobody's going to be happy about it. Of course, you're going to be like, fuck, be down about it. But then is how do you use that? Do you use it as fire? Do you let it fuel your fire? Or are you going to, let this shit weaken you? And looking at Wilder's personality, it comes off to me like he's gonna use this as fuel for fire. You know what I mean? My man Brad Jones says facts. He says I like AJ's plan in that Ruiz rematch. It was smart. Yeah, it was smart. HypnoFist says Pulev is too one-dimensional. He comes in straight lines and don't move his head, closing in. AJ will KO him comfortably. Well, shit. AJ comes in them straight lines as well. And they both go in. Both of these dudes come in and out in straight lines. Now, AJ looked different in the Ruiz fight because he didn't want nothing to do with no inside fighting. So he was moving and keeping Ruiz the fuck out, you know what I mean? Not letting Ruiz come in on the inside. But usually, AJ comes in and out the same way Pulev does. Ether Joe 505 says, any heavyweight prospects you're looking out for undercard performances back when we had undercards? Shit, as far as the prospects, man, there's too many of them to name, bro. I'm looking at all the heavyweight prospects. I'm looking at Arslan Black Makhmadov, Jolalov. I'm looking at Jared Anderson. I'm looking at all of them. What's the kid that Dillian Whyte got? Not the Babbage dude, but the other kid. I just did a video on him. Fabio Worley. Bro, I'm looking at all the 2016 Olympians, Herkovic and all them guys. Yoka, Ivan Daichko. There's a few guys. Darmani Rock. I seen Darmani Rock was on the Boxing Voice a few weeks ago. I hope that kid get his weight down, man. There's a lot of them, bro. I'm looking at a lot of prospects right now. Volcano, what's up, man? I appreciate that. Neutral Natural says Fury got Wilder respect early, and that was all she wrote. But Wilder needs to give Fury respect early in the third fight. He needs to triple up the jab and hard jabs and throw the right hand as a decoy. Man, Fury is weird, man. He's one of them dudes, bro. He's crazy, man. Like he's crazy and demented enough to where I don't think there's really no getting his respect. Either you have to just knock him the fuck out, and that's just gonna be it. I don't think there's like, oh, he has my respect. Man, Fury's the type that'll get hit with some hard and like wag his tongue and give me more type. He uses his craziness to his advantage in his fights, man. But I get what you're saying, though. Get his respect, make him back up. But Fury's crazy enough, bro, where I can see him get hit with the right hand and say, give me more. Hit, punch me again. You know what I mean? I think you just have to just put him on his back. I agree, Reggie. Yeah, when you lose, man, you go through some type of depression. I don't give a fuck what no fighter say, what era. Nobody's feeling good, especially when you're that undefeated guy. You've been running through dudes and you're up to the 40s and the high 30s as far as your wins. Shit even in the 20s. You know what I mean? 25 and 0, whatever. You're going to feel some type of depression. It might, and I'm not talking about you're hiding under the covers for 8 months. You can't eat. You can't, have sex with your girl. I ain't talking about that. I'm just talking about feeling down a little bit, man. Nobody feels good after fucking losses. When I was in college, bro, I didn't feel good after we got blown out in the game or whatever it was. Who the fuck feels good after that? You know what I mean? That's just human nature, man. Stormy B man says y'all better hope Wilder ain't Derek Jefferson 2.0. Yeah, their fighting styles are very similar, man. Jefferson and Wilder. I think you were the one that I brought that up. Yeah, them dudes' fighting styles are similar. I'm not even gonna lie. I'm not saying that. Now I'm saying their fighting styles are similar. I'm not saying that I think Derek Jefferson is better than Deontay Wilder or he accomplished more because he didn't. But their fighting style, just the visual, it does look similar. Neutral Natural says AJ need to be looking to parry the jab, parry Pupilev jab. Yeah, either parry it or maybe he can do. I think he's athletic enough. I'm not sure if he's quick to the punch enough the way Klitschko is or comfortable doing what Klitschko did. But Klitschko just said fuck the jab and he started to lead with power shots. That's how Klitschko, in my opinion, was able to handle Pulev by just start to lead with power shots instead of leading with the jab, which which they teach you to do. He said, "Fuck this, man! I'm about to just lead with a power shot." Thank you, Stormy. He's crazy, man. That dude is, bro. When he got knocked down the first time, he like looked up at the lights. Like he's a nutcase, man. This dude has dressed up like Batman and Robin at a presser. This dude has took his shirt off at the second presser. The fight didn't happen, but for the rematch for Klitschko that didn't happen, he took his shirt off and like fat shamed himself. Man, this dude is nuts, man. You dealing with a psycho, man. Like you dealing with a crazy motherfucker, man. Xavier the boxer nurse says Sean Porter's the only man I see lose with a smile. Well, even if he did do that, bro, I'm still like I said, man. Just as a former athlete or just as an athlete, when you compete at a high level, man, you never feel good about winning. I mean, about losing. You know what I mean? So maybe it's just a situation where it's just you sitting and thinking about it. You're gonna be pissed off that you lost. Like I know Sean Porter may have smiled after the Spence fight, but I know when he got back and it was just him, he was like, "Fuck, I gave that one up, man. Had I not got knocked down, or had I not did this, or had I not did that, fuck, damn, you know what I mean? You're gonna feel that." Jupiter B, what's up, man? Stormy B, man. He says, hey, that's real talk though, man. There was always that crazy motherfucker you did not fuck with. He may not have been the brightest one, But you said, man, I ain't gonna physically fuck with dude though, man. Dude might fuck around and kill my ass out here. And I think Fury being crazy or perceived to be crazy, it works to his advantage. You don't know what you gonna get in. That dude's like the Joker, man. You don't know what you're gonna get with Tyson Fury. Madman says he thinks that he says he was fighting on Black History Month. The fight was promoted like this. I'm knocking Fury out in such an important moment of the calendar was the whole plan. Well, bro, it don't matter if it was Black History Month, Easter, St. Patrick's Day, Thanksgiving. Wilder knocked motherfuckers out because that's just what Wilder does. So it doesn't matter what day was on the first day of school, uh, leap day, leap year, whatever. None of that shit matters, man. His Wilder's plans to knock you the fuck out no matter what day it is. Um, but Wilder loves his people. So he was but just the fact that he even wanted to do that for his people, salute to him for doing that. And that's why I respect Wilder. Win or lose, you know what I mean? So even though he came up short that night, just the gesture was good enough for me. I would want him to get the win, but Wilder's trying to knock you out no matter what day it is, bro. Like, you know what I mean? Yeah, Wilder, Fury, he's crazy, man. That dude's just a crazy dude, man. But I want to see Wilder get back in his like two teens, like 218, 217, something like that, man. I want him to be a lot quicker with his and not be so predictable because them punches just didn't look fast at all. Fury wasn't doing a lot of moving, so it wasn't like it was hard for him to be accurate because Fury was showing this Pernell Whitaker, Charles Burley type of defense. I mean, Fury moved his head here and there, but Wilder wasn't trying to target the body, nothing. Like he was looking for just one straight right hand to the face head area and call it a night. And Fury was putting up a much tougher opposition than that. You know what I mean? He fought Wilder, man. He fought him. He fought him. His physicality was too much for him that night. He mauled, grabbed, held, forearms, push, rag. I mean, he fought him. Casa Collins says people give Wilder a hard time and pressure. He's a family man and he has good heart and he can fight. Justin says, breaking news, Spence has yet to spar yet. Hope he doesn't lose. Is that, well, I don't know if that's true or not. If he hasn't sparred yet, that's not a good thing. Cause shit, their fight what? Right around the corner, ain't it? I agree with that, Jupiter. That first fight he did go to the body. He landed, and even the Ortiz fight, he was landing good left hooks to the body. And he, I don't know, man. He just didn't look right, man. He just looked lethargic and lackadaisical, man. In that second fight. Let me see here. All right, y'all. I think that's about it, man. I'm not gonna make this too long or get redundant. Curtis says, I'm starting to get a funny feeling about the Spence fight. Look, Kurt, and I love me some Errol Spence, man, but bro, you just can't get, you know what I'm saying, ejected through a damn windshield, man, or whatever, man, and get surgery and get teeth knocked out your skull and you just okay. But Mr. Boxing, the doctors. So women's boxing, you a doctor? No, I'm not a doctor. But at the same time, I'm like, I mean, I'm just using just logic, you know what I mean? Just normal logic, man. Like they may okay him, but bro, come on, man. Like, ain't nothing wrong. I mean, I guess I guess we'll see, man. But that's how it doesn't matter this Errol Spence. It could be Danny Garcia, it could be anybody, Tyson Fury, Deontay Wilder. And there ain't nothing wrong. There just ain't nothing wrong. You just okay, everything just a clean bill of health. I guess. You know what I mean? I guess we'll see, man. But I don't know, man. I don't know, man. That's kind of hard to believe, man. That's just hard to believe. And for those you're gonna say, well, they want to allow him, bro. They let, and I know this was years ago, but this is boxing. Man, they let Muhammad Ali in the ring, bro, to fight Larry Holmes and Trevor Berbick. You guys go watch that documentary, that 30 for 30 on ESPN that they did. I literally shed a tear. I couldn't even watch it all the way. It was tough for me to watch it all the way through. Um, that Muhammad and Larry, and there's no way in the world that Muhammad Ali should have been in the ring. The dude couldn't even fucking skip rope. And I'm not lying to you. They were in his camp. He couldn't even skip rope. He couldn't even fucking say a complete sentence. And they put this man in the ring with Larry Holmes. Come on, man. Like, so boxing is corrupt enough to where they would let somebody go in there that shouldn't really be in there. Now, I'm not saying this is the case. I would love to see some you know, some training stuff from Errol just to see, not jogging, not just pulling his shirt up and showing you a six pack. Because I think Errol can get a six pack in his sleep. You know what I mean? I'm talking about taking shots. You know what I mean? But I guess we'll see, man. Yeah, Derek. I want to see how he reacts to getting hit with something clean. There's one thing that Danny can do. Danny's solid, right? Like Danny doesn't jump off the page with super quickness or crazy power. And there's some fights I thought Danny should have lost. You know what I mean? But um, Danny is solid and sturdy, and he punches hard enough to where he's going to test that chin. He's going to test that chin. You know what I mean? But I just want to see, man. Now, Errol, people talking about the way Errol talks. I know Errol got that, Southern draw, so I'm not really going off that. He from Dallas, man, from Texas. You know what I mean? So I know he has the Southern draw. I'm not really too much on that, but I want to see how he gets hit with punches, how he reacts to that. And bro, you got ejected from a windshield and you're just okay, just ain't nothing wrong. I don't know, man. I don't know. But hey, y'all, Adewale, man, what's good? I'm gonna jump off here, man. I appreciate y'all showing up. Until next time, like I always say, man, y'all be easy. I'm gone.